And good morning and welcome to the VSA Capital 5-Minute Morning Miner. It's Wednesday, 31st of August, the last day of summer. We start the autumn tomorrow. How are you, Paul?
I am well, thank you. And a beautiful day outside, looks like.
Looking forward to autumn?
No, I haven't had enough summer yet.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's also now dark when I start my bicycle ride. Just start far too early. It's sort of 5:45 in the morning to get there so I can get all the news and views out to everybody very early in the morning. But there you go. Right, look, there's some big news today. I think for one of our corporate clients, it is big news. The market actually doesn't understand it at all. But obviously, our client is Tectonic Gold, and they have a 40% interest basically in the Whalehead mine in South Africa, where they've just been granted their permit, haven't they, Paul, alongside Kazera, which is also a UK quoted company.
Yes, that's right. Been waiting for this for quite some time. This Whalehead Minerals mining permit now issued. That is a heavy mineral sands for the Walviskop mine, which has been a historic producer in the past of small amounts of heavy minerals, but also of diamonds. And this is a mining permit to start extracting on a 3 million ton JORC resource that is 61% heavy mineral concentrate already. So in other words, it's more or less just clean it up and start moving it to buyers here. They hope to have it in production in the next 6 months or so at a rate of 6,000 tons a month, and gross profits, even in this sense, would be at least $300,000 a month at the current heavy mineral prices. So it's a huge impact as far as cash flows for both Tectonic and Kazera if they get it up and running now. But at least they have the permit in place.
I think there's a bit more to come out of this. I believe there's a large multinational that's going to come and potentially do the mining for them. That is lined up, and of course they have huge amount more where they can expand at about 30 times the size, don't they?
They have a lot more to work with there than what is otherwise in the current resource. That's correct. So it's definitely a very significant step for the two companies.
And we're talking about an NPV here of 150 million against a market cap of 9 million. Now, you're not going to go necessarily to the full NPV. But the market clearly doesn't understand this, as the Tectonic Gold share price is unchanged today without a trade. Kazera is up about 10%. Kazera has obviously been in the news quite a lot recently, but with a, should we say, a bit of a fight between Giles Clark and Richard Jennings. But yeah, I don't think the market's quite got this one this morning. But this is effectively winning a lottery ticket. So there's still time to get in if you want to buy Tectonic at 1p. Plenty of upside in my view. It is a VSA corporate client, and I do own stock myself, just as a warning. Okay, we also actually just sort of up the road in Namibia, so to speak, Paul, we had some figures from Afritin. Now, normally figures for junior miner are unimportant, but actually, of course, they have gone into a maiden profit, haven't they, of £400,000.
They have indeed. The revenue was up as well in the first full year here. They have an odd full year end date, which is February 28th. So keep that in mind. So we're looking 6 months back here, almost at this stage here. Revenue of 13.6 million sterling, which was up 178%. Definitely driven by higher production and much higher tin prices on a year-on-year basis. Maiden profit, as you say, came in a pre-tax of 0.4 million versus sterling versus a loss of 5.8 million sterling. They did, however, after tax, because of taxation, of course, have an after-tax loss of just shy of 500,000 sterling. Average tin price received, though, was up by about 80% or so that they had received. $38,680 US per ton is what they had received. And they ended the period with cash and equivalents at 7.4 million. The definitive feasibility study is well underway and completed, I should say, and the expansion has now entered its construction phase.
I think what Anthony's done there is really exciting. I think there's plenty more to go there. Obviously, it's not just tin, it's lithium as well. Namibia is a good country, so I think it's a really interesting situation. Now, one where, as you say, they've got plenty of cash left on the balance sheet. One where actually they've had results today and the cash is rather de minimis. Metal Tiger, which used to be a real retail favourite, not quite so much now, Paul. But do you want to talk through that? They had interims, I think.
Yes, Metal Tiger, it's a portfolio holding company, more or less, with various interests in other mining companies and mining projects. And the interesting bit there is they had spent quite a good lot of money here with an operating loss for the period of 11.8 million in doing various deals, but they only retained cash at the 30th of June of just 190,000 sterling. Now, in order to offset that issue, they have done some deals here which haven't yet closed. For instance, the agreement to sell 49% interest of Kalahari Metals to Cobra Limited with a consideration of 1.5 million in cash plus a significant number of shares. So they also have a significant interest in the deposits that Sandfire Resources, the ASX listed copper producer, has in Botswana, and it's those that they are relying upon in the future here as far as upcoming cash flows and that sort of thing. Because Sandfire is growing the resources in Botswana, and the financial position of the firms is actually quite strong with very good margins for these operations. So it's a company in transition here, and they just have to make sure that they can maintain the proper cash coverage for working capital purposes. So we'll see whether or not they have to do a top up or a loan deal or something like that in the interim.
Yeah, now there's quite a lot of other little bits of news and drill results out today, but we are going to get to a 5-minute morning miner, Paul. But any couple, one or two more that you'd like to really point out? I know you love a great drill result, so maybe mention Tesoro Resources.
Yes, it's a real whopper of a hole that they came up with here on the El Zorro project, TSX listed Tesoro, with a gold project down in Chile that looks everything to me in the geology wise that it could be another Sukari mine like Centamin has in Egypt. But this is a plus 400 meter hole from very near surface. With assays well over 1 gram gold per ton. So that's exactly the kind of mineralization that Sukari has for Centamin. And this deposit or series, this land position is so large with this kind of anomalous rocks over such a wide area that they just haven't tested with drilling yet, that there's all kinds of upside left in this story. And the other one I wanted to mention too is the Cisco Mining formerly has brought the Windfall deposit, gold deposit resources south of Chibougamau in Quebec to formalized at a 3.5 gram cutoff at about 7.5 million ounces of gold, but at 2.5 gram cutoff, it's over 10 million ounces measured, indicated, and inferred. And that definitely at a grade of over 8 grams per ton. So we're talking about one of the very best gold deposits in the world.
Whoa, that's saying something, Paul.
Yes.
Certainly is. Okay, look, I think we've run out of time there. If we didn't mention you feel we should have done, then clearly you haven't been bunging us enough bribery money. Oh, not allowed to say that, are we? Not allowed any corruption in the mining industry. But seriously, if you feel you've been missed out, then maybe get in touch with us and tell us why, and we'll maybe talk about you. Very good, Paul. We'll speak again tomorrow in autumn.
Okay, I hope you can do it with Ollie tomorrow.
Okay.
Yep.